everybody. It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for the screening room. We've got another exciting episode coming up today. I'm Adam Roberts.
I'm Lecas Morgen.
And I'm Peter Lenz.
We're looking at one of the most successful comedic actors of the 21st century today. It's Will Ferrell. No, we're not doing Elf. Christmas is still too far away to look at that movie. But I'm going to be doing a little look at Anchorman. We're going to take a look at The Other Guys, and we're going to finish up with a look at Step Brothers. You guys ready to go?
Yeah.
I was born ready, actually.
Oh, were you born ready?
I was, right out the womb.
All right, well, let's get right underway then. So first we're going to take a look at Anchorman. It's the 1970s, and Ron Burgundy is the top news anchor in classy San Diego. He's been riding high for 5 years, and he's riding alongside a star-studded cast of characters: Brian Fantana, Brick Tamlin, and Champ Kind. Together, they're the four-man duo the four-man super team that runs the San Diego news market. But along comes a diverse new female co-anchor, Veronica Corningstone, to shake things up with the Channel 4 news team. It's a crazy adventure ahead, so let's take a look at the trailer and see what they have to offer.
Hot. How much time?
You're on.
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy scotch scotch. Here it goes down into my belly. That is good.
You're on the air.
How are you? You look awfully nice tonight. Maybe don't wear a bra next time. How much time till we're on?
You're on, Ron.
What?
We're on the air right now.
I'm ready. Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy. Here's what's going on in your world tonight.
It was the 1970s.
Looking good, San Diego.
In a simpler time,
Hey, Garth, how's the divorce?
Oh, not so good. I'll probably never see my kids.
Fantastic.
it took a simpler man
Follow leads, confirm sources. Real journalism, my friend.
Great. Right on.
Now, what's a lead?
to deliver the news.
I have some very urgent and important breaking news.
Cannonball!
Will Ferrell is Ron Burgundy,
Who's that handsome devil?
a Californian so popular
You stay classy, San Diego.
Yeah!
he could have been governor.
Hey, I like that fatty.
Oh, Mr. Burgundy.
Anchorman, the legend of Ron Burgundy.
Burgundy did it! Hi-yo! Oh! Ron Burgundy is down and it is bad!
Oh, Ron. Certainly, Will Ferrell captures the comedic genius in Ron Burgundy, and I think this movie actually, believe it or not, was one of the first real times I ever considered becoming a broadcast journalist. It was way back in 2004. I was an impressionable 11-year-old boy, snuck in to see The Legend of Ron Burgundy, had no idea what I was getting myself into, but a spark appeared inside me, and I think that led to where I am right now. Ron is a colorful man. He's crazy, he's zany, and he certainly doesn't abide by any of the politically correct rules of the time. So guys, what do you think about this one?
I mean, it is honestly one of my personal favorite movies. It gives me goals to speak in third person as much as I possibly can, and it makes me want to live in the 70s, and I think it's the perfect time to live in. You can wear suits everywhere you go. Everything's just classier.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's probably, might not be my favorite Will Ferrell movie, but it's probably up there with them.
And it does set some limits for the gang fights that I have in the streets, if you guys remember that scene.
Oh, that was one of my favorite parts. In fact, actually, Luke Wilson was in there, and I remembered him first as Casey Kelso from That 70s Show.
Yes.
So seeing him get his arm cut off, and it was so crazy to think, this looks just totally fake, but then all of a sudden, oh my God, arms are falling off. It's public TV, and they can't handle the madness.
Right. And then I love how in Anchorman 2 they brought him back again and cut off his other arm. I don't know if you saw that one, but that got me going pretty well too. And I mean, just like Brick throwing the trident, that was just legendary. Brick killed a guy.
Brick killed a man.
Brick killed a man.
Yeah, he might want to lay low for a little while, actually, now that I think about it. So where would you say this movie ranks up along Will Ferrell's top classics?
I mean, well, as I said, I'd probably say it's like number 2, based purely on how quotable it was that we've kind of expressed throughout this review.
Personally, I would say it's the number 1 up there. I mean, it's kind of hard to see any Will Ferrell movie surpass that. It's like when you think of Will Ferrell, you think of Anchorman, to me.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy to think, again, that I was only 11 years old. I had no idea at all what I was going to. I didn't even think I was supposed to be at the movie theater. It was my first rebellious moment of my childhood, going to see Ron. Oh no, I was not a rebellious kid by any means. I was the guy that did homework on Saturday nights.
Unlike Ron Burgundy.
Oh my God, my life changed forever. He became my new idol after that movie.
As he should be, as he should be. As all of the San Diegans, he's all their idol. You can look at him, he's just a man you can look up to.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't put him as one of my personal idols. He's just such a funny guy. And well, I put him right up there with one of Will Ferrell's best characters that he ever brought out. And I mean, he was alongside an all-star cast. I think Danny Trejo just made that little brief appearance, making sure we all knew that times were different, man. Times were ladies can do stuff now. You gotta accept that, man.
I think it is true when you talk about the hit being his best character. If you ever see all the different things he does in the Ron Burgundy character, he goes to different award shows and things like that, and he actually does it as Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, it's definitely like his main character, like the one he's probably defined as. I think he'll be remembered for him for years afterward, beyond his other movies.
It was interesting seeing him interview Peyton Manning. I don't know if you saw that on SportsCenter as Ron Burgundy. Oh man, I don't know. Ron Burgundy. He's a classy man. He's a classy fellow. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at the other guys. I think you got that one coming up.
I got that.
We got a lot more Will Ferrell action, so we're going to take a break quick, and we're going to take a look at Perfect Pets, those adorable animals up for adoption.
My name is Sissy. I'm a Yorkshire Terrier. I may be 11 years old, but my cuteness makes up for it.
The name is Hollows. What you see is what you get.
Hi, my name is Flash, and I'm a handsome 6-year-old border collie with very good manners, and I need a home.
Hey, I'm Warren. I've only been in this world for 8 weeks, but I'm sure that one of these days my future family is going to come and take me home.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Again, the number for the Cooley Region Humane Society is 781-4014. All right, we're continuing on our trend of Will Ferrell movies on this episode of The Screening Room, and I think it's time to take a look at our next one.
Yeah, so our next Will Ferrell movie is titled The Other Guys. Obviously stars Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg this time. And they star as two kind of deadbeat cops that really aren't very good at their job, but they kind of stumble upon a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme. Now, the whole movie really isn't much on plot. It gets really convoluted, but what's really works in the movie is their communication between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and just the totally ridiculous situations that they put themselves in leads to a ton of hilarious stuff like that. Everything from Derek Jeter to just a huge Ponzi scheme to women just randomly being attracted to Will Ferrell for no reason. Let's see how it is. Let's check out the trailer.
Tell me once again why I got on this roof. I chalked that up to bad life choices.
In the toughest city in the world, nobody fights crime like these guys.
Somebody call 911, holy
And then there's the other guys.
Stop humming that song.
We know. All the gunfights, all the car chases, all the sex we don't want to have with women, but we have to, all due to what you guys do.
And we do it again and again.
Hey, if I want to hear you talk, I will shut my arm and work your mouth like a puppet. Peace out.
Real characters.
Yeah.
You stopping there? What? I think you're a fake cop.
I hear a guy who's probably a little insecure.
All units, we've got a possible jumper.
We all know you're in a very dark place right now. I'm gonna do it! You're feeling as if sweet death is your only release.
Oh, we got a second jumper.
Oh, look, he's flying.
Who are you?
I'm his wife.
This is ball and chain.
Oof.
Come on, seriously, who is that?
I am a real cop.
I'm working on a huge case. You're coming with me.
It's a wooden gun. Oh!
Listen up. We need your cooperation.
Run!
We are doing a lot of property damage. Oh, cool, a helicopter.
Where'd you learn to drive like that?
Grand Theft Auto.
I want to do good cop, bad cop. I come strong, and then you come in. Got it. I want to know everything now.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you. You're reasonable.
You want to talk to me?
I thought you said bad cop, bad cop.
I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Pick another bird. Peacocks, they don't fly, Terry. They don't, do they? Just let them have it, Captain.
The other guys.
How do they walk away in movies without flinching when it explodes behind them? There's no way. The movie industry is completely irresponsible for the way they portray explosions.
All right, so as we can see, that's The Other Guys, and in the last review for Anchorman, I said it was my second favorite Will Ferrell movie, and I have to say this one is probably my favorite. I really like the communication between Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell and how they really play off each other. I think it really makes a lot of good jokes, and as a lover of movies, specifically cop movies, I really like how they kind of take the cliches of all these movies and put them in there and just make them totally ridiculous, absolutely hilarious. It also features one of my favorite monologues from Will Ferrell involving I believe it was tuna fish and lions, about how it was just totally ridiculous. I loved it. What do you guys think?
Well, I think when it comes to cop comedies and when you're dealing with any sort of cop comedy, drama, anything where you're dealing with officers or detectives, it all comes down to who the duo is and how well they can kind of mesh together. And I saw on 21 Jump Street, I can compare it to this movie, the Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum combination. It just kind of was two people who you wouldn't think work well together in a movie, but they somehow made it a manageable movie in a presentation. And Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, I don't necessarily see them as people that you would think working together in a film. And I'm not going to lie, before we had to get this produced for the screening room, I had never seen this movie before. But watching the duo work together, I think they did a very good job.
And I would agree with you. And I really like your point about how previous cop films, they really go and they talk about going with someone that you can't really see together, and it really fits here with you. When you have Mark Wahlberg and you have Will Ferrell, especially because Mark Wahlberg, you got Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Actually, this film really turned my view of Mark Wahlberg around, and I think Will Ferrell did a lot to help because Will Ferrell's such a comedic genius that he can make people really work with their level of funniness and just elevate them to new heights.
Yeah, I also thought kind of Mark Wahlberg was kind of like an underrated comedic actor. Because, think about it, he's been in, Ted, this movie. I'm pretty sure some other comedy somewhere.
Oh, maybe
Transformers counts, something like that.
I don't know if that's a comedy. Michael Bay's going to kill you for saying that.
He's going to haunt your dreams, actually. You should probably watch it. My personal favorite part of this movie was the desk pop. When they finally they convinced him to do a desk pop. I mean, because Will Ferrell does a way to be, in some movies, a cocky dude, and other movies like this one, just kind of pathetic, and he is the type of person that you can see someone getting him to shoot a gun off at his
very
desk.
Different from his, Anchorman character, whose ego is just, through the roof.
Very
He's, the total opposite of that. He's just, a tiny man. Basically.
Not to mention the ego is it's a huge ego, of course, but he's got so many other people he's working along with. This movie has a lot of big names. One of the big draws for when I watched this movie, I was waiting for Derek Jeter. I'm a big baseball guy. I love DJ. And seeing him in this movie was like, oh my God, Will Ferrell, Derek Jeter, Samuel L. Jackson, Dwayne Johnson, redeeming himself from the movie You Hate, Scorpion King. Talk a little bit about that piece of garbage.
That's another part that I really enjoyed about this movie was Samuel Jackson and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Just it really added a lot to this, and you didn't see that.
Yeah, I almost wanted to see a prequel movie that was just those two, just
being all-star cops, just
blowing stuff up,
defeating every crime boss of the entire city of New York. that would be a pretty decent. I would watch that movie.
Yeah, me too.
Well, two great Will Ferrell movies that we've looked at so far. The Other Guys, Anchorman. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the last movie of the day, Step Brothers, maybe the biggest of them all. But first, we got to take another quick break and look once again at those adorable pets up for adoption, Imperfect Pets.
My name is Sissy. I'm a Yorkshire Terrier. I may be 11 years old, but my cuteness makes up for it.
The name is Hollows. What you see is what you get.
Hi, my name is Flash, and I'm a handsome 6-year-old border collie with very good manners, and I need a home.
Hey, I'm Warren. I've only been in this world for 8 weeks, but I'm sure that one of these days my future family is going to come and take me home.
To find out more about adoption for these pets or others, contact the Cooley Region Humane Society at 781-4014.
Again, the number for the Cooley Region Humane Society, 781-4014. All right, welcome back to the screening room. Time to take our last look at a Will Ferrell movie. Like I said before the break, could be the biggest of the bunch. It's 2008's Step Brothers. Take it away, my man.
Step Brothers, we are coming at you with Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly. They are back together again on the big screen with some seemingly perfect roles. Will Ferrell plays 40-year-old underachiever Dale Doback, while John C. Reilly is coming at you playing 39-year-old painfully similar Brennan Huff. Now, the movie starts with them sitting in the lives of luxury. They are making nachos, ordering pizzas that their parents are paying for, playing Guitar Hero all day. They don't have jobs. Their parents got their back. But unlucky for them, their parents just happened to meet by fate at a conference. And you know what? I don't know how many people are living with 40-year-old middle-aged people living in their houses, so they got along great. And actually, they ended up getting married soon after that. But, I mean, neither of the boys were too thrilled about this, calling it a horse poop wedding, just like Dale calls it in the movie. And after the wedding, they moved into their house. Their first interaction was pretty standoffish. Brennan demanding to be called Nighthawk, Dale demanding to be called Dragon. It was evident at that point that they are just going to have a hilarious relationship. Now, as soon as they start talking, Dale instantly tells Brandon that he better keep his hands off his drum set. But it's just like any adult man-child can. They can't say no to something. So after he goes and Brennan finds out that he put his on his drum set, it is evident that they are going to have a pretty big battle. This comes down to one of the biggest fight scenes in history, in my opinion, ending with them hitting both over the head at the same time with a golf ball and a baseball bat, knocking each other out. Now, this is where the movie really gets going. After that, the parents decide that they are done with their childhood lives. They need to get kicked out and go get a job. And now the film is starting to kick off. If you want to find out what happens in the rest of the film, you're going to have to look. Will Brennan and Dale be able to work out their differences, start contributing to society? Will the Catalina wine mixer be all that it's cracked up to be? Will Prestige Worldwide ever find out what they're going to do with all these boats? Well, hey, you'll never know, but hey, if you aren't too interested in the movie yet, maybe you should give the trailer a look and find out what it's all to talk about.
Became man and wife. Their children became stepbrothers.
Hey. Hey.
Now,
Brennan, you and Dale are going to have to share a room. Just until the two of you get jobs and you move out.
they're living side by side.
Are you awake? Yeah. I hate your guts. I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Working out their differences.
I think they're starting to like each other.
What are you doing? I'm burying you. Alive! Alive! Waking the neighbors! Shut up!
And facing new challenges.
You have 1 month to find jobs or you're on your ass.
What? This house is a prison!
Well, Brennan, you certainly have had a lot of jobs.
Thank you. I'm a real self-starter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who's this gentleman sitting behind you?
Hello, Miss Lady.
Unfortunately, there isn't another position available.
We're willing to have sex with you.
Please leave this office.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
From Columbia Pictures,
Nancy and I are retiring. We're putting the house on the market.
Well, what about us?
they'll have to team up
We're not going anywhere. I'm working on a plan.
to hang on to the things they care about most.
As you can see, you got a really awesome front lawn.
I'm getting a really good feeling about
I am
this.
so glad.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
The neighbor is a Nazi?
Howdy. Hey, I love the color of your skin.
We're done here.
Yeah.
Step Brothers,
We did it. Woohoo! This is how it's doing.
And overall, after watching that trailer, I think you can tell why I personally think that movie is a classic. In the end, it is one of my favorite Will Ferrell movies. He's got the curly hair just like I do, so I have to rep for it. You see all the great classic things. You see at the end, the Catalina wine mixer really ends up being one of the greatest events of the year. It really wraps up. You see how these two man-child really end up being adults in the end. How do you guys feel about the movie?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain a little bit. I am an Anchorman junkie, as we all have has become pretty aware throughout the course of this show. So this movie kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. I was not the biggest fan of Step Brothers, and there's really a bigger reason about that than just watching the movie. It kind of goes back to when I was in high school. This movie came out in 2008. I was a freshman in high school. And this annoying little kid that sat behind me in pretty much every class just quoted this movie so much, and it just annoyed the heck out of me. I hated that kid, and it just right away, I'd never even seen the movie again, and already I didn't want anything to do with it. So overall, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, that kind of starts you off with a bad little stigma there. How about you? Maybe you got some positive vibes from it?
Well, I kind of hate to I don't know, crap on your movie, but I do enjoy it a lot, but it is kind of lower on my list of Will Ferrell movies, I would say. The humor is kind of a lot more, I don't know, crass. I think it goes a lot farther than some of the other movies we talked about, even though, like, Anchorman and stuff, other guys. This one is more of like a hard R-rated
I would probably
movie.
agree with you on that one. But I think part of that comes from the characters that they play. If you have to think about the type of person that would be 40, 39, living with their parents still, they're going to be pretty immature, pretty crass. But I do understand where you're coming with that.
Yeah, I definitely did enjoy it, though. I think I remember one of my favorite parts was when they were sleepwalking or something like that.
Just destroying the entire house.
They just end up getting in a fight, and then the dad keeps saying, "You can't stop a sleepwalker," and they just like destroy the whole house. It was pretty great.
You know, the thing is, lowbrow comedy can work if it's done right. I mean, I don't think any of us would argue when we were younger, like coming up through high school, that's all we wanted to see. We wanted to see funny poop jokes, wah, 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 stuff like that. And it's just not a movie that I think holds up after the years when you've sort of matured like a fine Catalina wine. This movie just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't stick up with me.
I guess I definitely understand what you guys are saying. If I really think back to the last time that I sat down and watched the full-length movie all the way through, probably was back when I was a kind of an immature 16, 17-year-old guy. But I mean, I still think that I might be an immature person because I really, really loved the movie. One of my favorite parts of the movie is when they were fighting with the brother and they punch him in the face, and that was the first thing that Brennan likes about Dale, is that he finally did something that he could never do, which I always really, really loved about that.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk about a few other Will Ferrell movies, because there's three movies that we looked at today. We looked at Anchorman, The Other Guys, Step Brothers, probably three of his greater movies that everyone is probably familiar with, but he has done a lot of other stuff. I mean, actually, this is 13 years ago was the last time he was on Saturday Night Live. I mean, he's done so much work over the years. What about some other movies? What stands out to you guys?
Talladega Nights is the first one, I think.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby.
All right, another one with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. They have kind of a history together. They're actually best friends in real life, too. They do a lot of work on Funny or Die. I'm not quite sure if you've ever heard of funnyordie.com. That's Will Ferrell's website. That's the one that stands out to me. How about you?
Oh, man, that one as well. I feel like that's just like, that was kind of the first, like, really big Will Ferrell movie, I almost feel like. Well, I mean, I guess there was Anchorman, but for me at least, it was Talladega Nights. That was the first time I really watched this movie and just thought, like, who is this guy? This is hilarious.
Yeah. And of course, we can't forget about Elf. It's a family movie. It's a family picture.
A little bit different of a vibe to it, but yeah, agreed.
No, I there's a lot of bad stigma that Elf gets because it's played so much. It's a Christmas movie. It gets played from about Thanksgiving till Christmas Day, almost every single day, probably on ABC Family, all those cable channels. So it gets a lot of run and can get a bad rep, but it's a classic. There are a lot of classic Christmas movies. I think my favorite one is Christmas Story. That's just a little personal thing for me, but Elf is a great Christmas movie, and that's an example of one that does hold up. We still watch it as a family together every single Christmas if it's on. And when Santa comes, it's one of the greatest things I think Will Ferrell's ever done is saving Christmas. That's right up there with delivering the news.
That's the best thing you can do. And I think it's nice. I really like Elf because we kind of saw the transition of it becoming a Christmas classic because we were kind of alive and functioning when it started to come out, and we were here to see it become a classic.
Yeah, it's definitely like out of the Christmas classics, I'd say it's the most recent one. Like there's no real movie that's like come up.
One of my most recent favorite Will Ferrell movies was Get Hard. I don't know if you guys saw the one with Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
That was great. It was funny to see. Again, Will Ferrell does such a interesting job of being the different characters that he goes to, but all of his characters are somewhat similar, yet very different. It's kind of, he has an interesting acting style that way.
It also touches on kind of how he interacts with other people. Like in all the movies we talked about, how like Anchorman, he's got that huge cast. Other guys, he's got Mark Wahlberg. Step Brothers, he's got John C. Reilly. This one, he's got Kevin Hart, so you can't really do much wrong with that.
What do you guys think is your favorite Will Ferrell career highlight? Like a movie, his Saturday Night Live time? I'm going to start with mine. When he did the cowbell along with Blue Oyster Cult for Don't Fear the Reaper and kind of had that leg swinging thing going, that was one of my favorite Will Ferrell moments of all time.
I think I've got to pick my very specific favorite one moment was the scene in Anchorman when he does the cannonball. He has some urgent news and he's going to tell you guys.
My favorite part would probably be, I mean, it's kind of like an encompassment of a lot of parts, would be like the whole like build up to Anchorman 2. Do you guys remember that? When he just was out doing like everything. He was on like every talk show. He came up with a book for some reason. All this stuff. That was just hilarious.
And talking about, I can't believe we didn't hit on Anchorman 2 in the limited time that we have, but I think with so much build up for a sequel, it just took too long. It was too long for it to come out, and I think it was a flop. I've never even seen the movie, but it just hasn't stuck well.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with the fact that it's a flop, but I do know what you mean about the hype. It goes with everything in life. If it is getting a lot of overhyped, it has enough people really, really anticipating it, everyone is going to be thinking that it's going to be amazing. No one will ever be able to compete with the hype that
it was definitely like overshadowed by this like huge campaign.
I do think it's worth a watch, though. I think you should, if you liked Anchorman 2 more than Step Brothers, I think you'll like it. Give you a little bit more faith into Will Ferrell's acting.
All right, well, we're almost out of time, guys. We've had a busy, busy day, but we're going to take a look at some of the new movies coming out now in theaters. You can see Pan, The Walk, and The Martian, which is actually a movie I have been extremely excited to watch, especially since we have just learned that there is water on Mars. That's going to make the prospect of living on a foreign planet a lot more interesting to me, so you'll know I'll be checking it out. We've also got Hotel Transylvania 2, and The Intern's also coming out to Marcus as well.
So now, movies coming out on DVD, we've got Goosebumps coming out, Crimson Peak, Bridge of Spies, Steve Jobs, and The Suffragette.
Oh, another Steve Jobs movie?
That's what I was interested about. It has to be a lot of different topics going on since they did another movie about it.
Hopefully it's not, well, I know Ashton Kutcher won't be Steve Jobs this time, so it can only be a little bit of a step up.
And it's going to be pretty interesting because the new one is actually rated R. So it's going to be a little different. So now on DVD coming out is Tomorrowland, Insidious Chapter 3, Magic Mike Double XL, and Me and Earl and the Dying Girl.
Triple XL, that'd be something.
That might be the next third one. Hopefully that won't get too overhyped, you know, just like Anchorman 2.
All right, now let's move on to what's going down at the Riv. We've got some new stuff at the Riv, straight out of Compton.
Yes.
I have been meaning to see it. I'm excited. I really want to check it out.
I would relate it to like an glorified Behind the Music.
Yeah. And we also got Disney's Inside Out, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So go ahead and check those movies out at the Riv. It's cheap entertainment, great food, and a beautiful theater. I love the Rivoli Theater.
It has just a nice vibe to it. The first time I was there, I was so amazed by the fact that you can go put your feet up, order a pizza, go get some drinks. It's a really nice place.
And they got that like private screening room in the back. Yeah,
a little smaller
love
one.
that part.
It's an interesting place.
All right, well, I think that's all the time we've got for today, guys. It's been a great time doing these movie reviews with you. I hope we can do this again sometime.
Hopefully. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks, everyone, for joining us on the Screening Room, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, everyone.